if I had children, I wouldn't be able to just move across the country with you. You'd have to come get used to my kids. And so I often use kids as an example when trying to explain polyamory to someone who's never experienced it. Because people with kids understand that concept, that you can't just up and leave. You can't just have someone, you don't just bring somebody in the house without considering how the kids are going to feel.
Good points.
And exactly. So the level of, and it's not the, like when you have kids, like it's not necessarily a codependent where you're like a codependency consideration, but an actual consideration of someone's well-being, of someone's heart, of someone's like, how's that going to impact their life in the forward, and how that looks like. Absolutely.
Oh God, I get so vomitous when I think about the amount of polyamorous people that I've talked to that are like, oh, I don't want to go codependent and consider their feelings. And I'm like, you have to. It's not called codependency. It's just called being thoughtful and considerate, and it's so important. I mean, I went out to visit this man, Bob. I like calling him Bob. And he's got a whole company that he runs, and he works with people, and he works with all these women that are his CEOs of this company and his assistants. And I'm coming in as a new person, and they're not his lovers. Like, he's been monogamous his whole life, and I came in with the thought of like, hey, I'm coming into these women's territory. And I told them, I said, hey, I'm the new kid on the street here. I just want to honor and acknowledge the long-term friendship and work relationship that you guys have. And I want to be supportive. And, I know there's that whole, and so it's like, it's not just being thoughtful and considerate when sex is involved with somebody else. It's the whole thing, even friendships. And I just, they were so sweet about it, and just they almost seemed grateful that I was coming in kind of knowing my place and just being considerate of their feelings. It was so sweet. And honestly, I didn't learn that till polyamory. So
I mean, see, that's the thing, is like there's a difference between codependency and being compassionate and loving to people. I mean, like, oh, I'm going to step out of myself and care about Roxy and Scott. Like, oh, they're counting on me for their survival needs. They're counting on me to say what I promised to do. And if I can't show up in that way, I'm just going to tell them that I can't show up in that way, and maybe we can negotiate something else. Now, codependency is where you literally abandon your own needs and like, oh God, I have to meet that other person's needs or they're not going to love me. So the difference between that is like, I mean, being considerate, like I don't have to stomp around on someone's feelings, and I don't have to stomp around on you, Roxy. Like I don't have to do that because I want to develop a deep, loving relationship with you. And for me, love looks like consideration. And I'm not going to ask you to abandon what you need and want. I'm going to ask you to like consider the things that are important to me. Like time is really important for polyamorous people. Time is really important for monogamous people. For me, I mean, for Scott, I know that. So it's just like, honor someone's time, their energy that they're putting out. Like if they spent time writing you a card or a thoughtful email, or called you just to say, hi, how you doing? Hey, I just saw that RBG died. You might have some feelings about this. You want to talk about it? Yes, I do want to talk about it. Thanks for calling. Like that's very considerate, right? But it's not abandoning oneself to be loving.
no, but I abandoned myself in a codependent way to be defensive this morning. And I was thinking, for those of us who have been codependent, when we, okay, so this woman came down this morning. She was a bit fussy, and I've normally like in the far distant past, I've placated to people who are fussy and been, oh, I'm so sorry, and how can I fix it? And so somebody who was being kind of bitchy, I would want to make it okay, and I would apologize, and I would put it all on me because I can handle it, and I'm the martyr in my community, and I got this. And so then when I take that to the extreme, instead of just letting her be in her feelings and be frustrated that she got woken up, I overcompensated because I used to be codependent. And so then I was like, went on the defense and was kind of intense as opposed to just being neutral. Kind of like when somebody's learning how to say no for the first time, they don't learn right away how to just nicely, thoughtfully say no without a charge. They're like, no, it's this opposite end of the spectrum until they realize, oh, I don't have to say no like that. But in the beginning, we do oftentimes have to say no like that to pull our power back and then back it off and say it. I'm going to just call it more maturely, just a responsible, mature no. Doesn't have to have a charge.
Exactly. That's one of the things that I ran through with my client today, is that we ran through the deeper understanding of what yes and no feels like in her body. And it was really profound because she did the thing, the normal sex thing where I'm a woman, I'm going to use sex to get love. And that never works out for her. I was like, oh, surprising. What are you wanting? And well, I didn't say that. Of course, I was kind and compassionate in that moment. But I mean, how many times have I done that? I've done a zillion times. How many times have either of you done that? Like, oh, if I do this thing, then this person will. But we ran through this yes and no, and we ran through the subtle energetic and emotional distinction between what it feels like to say no to something you want, which is really powerful, as well as saying yes to something you don't want. And she's like, oh, I've got this one down. I know how this one feels. And I was like, well, take note right now. Take note of what that looks like. Because when you're saying yes to someone and you're totally not, yes, like that's literally just creating less self-trust. And that person who you're loving or wants to show up with you also can't trust you now, because you're just totally abandoning that place. And it sucks when we do that with sex. It sucks because sex is so juicy. It's so good.
Yes, I have been in many a threesomes where a little thing felt off, and I was so glad that we had had a preliminary conversation of your fears, boundaries, hopes, desires, and if anything feels off, we're going to stop, because then we're not having this kind of weird sex, wondering if are they happy and what's he thinking and what's she thinking, and we all just pause and say, oh, let's talk about, I felt something weird, is everything okay? And everyone says, oh yeah, everything's fine. But then one person says, I still feel some contraction in my body. What's happening? And it takes that one person to just be honest and attuned. That's my word for the year, is attunement. And, it's nice when our partners are able to tell us exactly what we want. That's great. And it's even better, I think, when we can attune to them, because like you said, Trish, it is hard to be vulnerable sometimes. Fear of rejection is real. I mean, I have that all the time and I just push past it. So yes, attunement in all directions.
Calibration, like absolutely. Oh, it really does look like, I mean, okay, so I'm all fumbling now. Woo, this is super vulnerable. Woo, I'm getting all hot and sweaty. My palms are sweaty. Okay. I had multiple threesomes with my ex-fiance, and at the end of our relationship, he said this to me. I don't know, like, I don't think you ever wanted a threesome. It was always so fucking awkward. And I was like, those girls didn't like me at all, right? They were getting to me to get to you. They were coming through me to get to you. Like, did you not get that piece? Like, I was down. They didn't like me. They weren't interested in me at all. So what made it awkward was, I mean, women and a lot of women are really in tune with other people. Like, if I know that person's like, I'm just having sex with Trish because I really want this other guy, like, I mean, I'm going to feel that. And so I told him, I was like, hey, those people didn't like me at all. And the look on his face, he was like, oh my God, you're right. And I was like, wow, that was years of this. So then I have this wildly beautiful experience with my partner at the time and another woman. And we had this really in-depth conversation, what it was going to mean, what we wanted, boundaries. And what happened during it is we had this checking in woven into this experience, and it was stunning. it was the most healing sexual experience that I've had. It was transformative because I was like, oh, you know, maybe I was the one that was kind of awkward and I don't want threesomes, which is not true. It was that this person wanted me and they wanted my partner and he wanted her and he wanted me. I mean, it was just like this really dynamic place where it felt, it was aligned, it was attuned, and we calibrated in the moment. We calibrated before and in the moment. It was stunning.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
As a teaching example, because I think you sharing this will help whoever's listening or support it. So your boyfriend said, oh, I didn't think you liked your ex-boyfriend. I didn't think you liked those threesomes. And you said, no, I was in it. Those girls didn't like me. They were just using me to get to you. Back then, obviously you were different. What made you say yes to that, knowing that they weren't into you?
Oh, yeah. Codependency, self-abandonment. That I, at that moment, felt that if I didn't do this thing, then he wouldn't love me. I know. And yeah, there were lots of things because I also, you know, there were a couple people that we played with that I was really into. And I was a yes. I was like a fuck yes, like yes. And as we were playing, I know that he was a yes, and he was a yes to her, and he was a yes to me, and she was a yes to him. And I was a yes to her and him. So the place that it fell apart is that she wasn't actually that into me, but I was still a yes. And it always came out weird. It always came out feeling like, unfulfilled. You know, like there was something missing. And I was like, why do I feel gross about that? Like, why do I feel all like awkward? And then I would talk to him and he would be like, yeah, something was off. And I would talk to her and she's like, yeah, something was off. And it really occurred to me way later after I deciphered what it was like. And we'd had multiple threesomes with people that I was like not really that interested in, that he was like super dogging after. And then there was, yeah, I mean, it was really interesting. We also never had any threesomes with people that I wanted to have threesomes with, which was I mean, I should have been like, if I was smarter then, if I was more in touch with like my truth and what's real and what a value of balance and equality, then I probably would have been like, maybe that's a red flag.
You think?
Oh, shush.
Well, thank you for sharing your sweaty palmed vulnerability. I think that's really sweet and generous. It was really generous of you to share that.
Honey, I got sweaty palms for you all day.
You do?
Yeah.
Is that some kind of like stroking off joke?
No, that wasn't a joke.
Are you serious?
I was totally serious.
Oh, you were serious?
Yeah. That was me flirting with you right now.
You were flirting with me? Oh, I'm blushing.
Oh.
I thought you were making a joke like, I got sweaty palms for you all day. Because, you know, if you have sweaty palms, you can jerk someone off better. Because it's wet. Unless they have foreskin. Then you don't oftentimes need lubrication.
Even then, it still needs something. It feels much better when it's wet.
No, you know, I know a lot of guys who are not circumcised, that they like to jerk off without lotion, and they like to be jerked off without lotion just because the foreskin comes up and down over. Anyway.
I mean, this is straight talk. We can talk about that. I know I've known a few, not a lot. I've known a few men who were uncircumcised, and those men liked it lubricated, but they could stroke it without having it because they had the foreskin. Is this okay for you, Scott?
Yeah, wet.
You're really
good.
silent over there.
Wet is always good. I'm taking these dissection classes, and I'm on my 7th one, and we actually dissected a penis, and it was I can't remember exactly what the teacher said, but he was talking about foreskin and saying that I shouldn't misquote him, but he was saying an uncircumcised. Oh, I'm going to wait to get the quote and say it because I don't want to misquote this guy.
Okay. Every time I go into the clinician,
I'll send it to you guys.
Thank you. Anytime I go into the clinician, though, speaking of jokes, I have to make trashy, like clitoris and vas deferens puns because I just can't control myself while I'm in there. There's a vast difference between, oh, it's so bad.
You're funny.
I know. I just because they're just looking at people's genitalia all day. So sometimes I'm like, maybe I should just throw in a little like, genitalia humor and, get them going for the rest of the day. Like,
I think that's great. They are probably happy about that. You probably make their day.
Oh yeah. Plus the people that I live with, like we just joke with words constantly. So those are really fun words to like, inspire people to enjoy and use them. Like, we don't see, now I want to make jokes. Okay. I'm like, why don't you just put these words in your mouth?
That's funny.
But I mean, like using, so some people don't really like to use the words like penis or clitoris or, the technical terms. And I'm like, why? These are really amazing words. I love the slang of it as well. But even just talking to some of my clients, it's hard for them to say dick, pussy. Dick. They're like, oh my God, I can't even say the thing down there. And I was like, down where?
Right, down where? There's 3 different teachers I'm doing dissection classes with, and one of them, his name is Gil Headley, and he says he doesn't like to refer to the genitals as genitals because it makes it so clinical, and then it kind of takes the sexuality out of it. And so he calls them the pars intima, the intimate part. So it's Latin. And I just thought it was such a sweet, poetic way to talk about the pars intima, the intimate parts. And it was just, I don't know, I can't remember, I don't know what the Latin is for genitals, but I one time mined Facebook, it was probably like 9 years ago, and I said, give me all the names for vulva and vagina. For those who don't know, like obviously the vulva is the inside, or I mean the vagina is the inside and the vulva is the outside. But I got so many names. I have them right here if you want to hear them. But anyway.
Oh yeah. Give us at least 15.
You want me to read off this list? Okay, tell a story while I pull it up.
Okay. I mean, just to give everyone else in the comment box, what are your favorite words to talk about your genitals? Is this okay, Scott? Like, we're pushing some buttons over here.
No, you guys you're on a roll.
Okay,
I mean,
so
what you find is when people name it, actually. I've always thought it would be really a cool book to have the photograph of the person and then what they've named their cock or their pussy, right? Because I think, it's like.
Aaron.
Are you ready? Aaron? Okay,
Aaron.
Are you ready?
I said my pussy's name is Aaron. That's a joke.
Okay, here's the list. I'm just gonna read them off. This is what Facebook gave me. This is all the people. Pussy names: honeypot, perfect, noogie, juicy papaya, home, cookie, kitty, petunia, happy spot, party in the pants, punani, dessert, vagina, ching ching, slush puppy, little muffin, grapefruit pulp, donita, biscuit, the butterfly, love mound, tootie, cosita, Brittany, pink parts, mango, the feminine entrance, divine entrance, cha-cha, crotch, God light in the human form, honeypot, cave of sacred mystery, secret treasure, love nest, cherry picker, Kit Kat, source of life, the jewel, cherry, little, insert your name, roses, yoni, her powers, garden of life, sheed, sheath, my lady, my girl, Tweety, nappy-headed dugout, hoo-hoo, expensive real estate, temple, sanctuary, holy abode, lotus patch, ton of love, papa, pocketbook, slice of heaven, glory hole, axe wound, little oven, pucha, cunt, love garden, home, pink taco, flower, fruit cup, cupcake, candy, sacred spot, papa cherry.
Wow.
Wait, you polled your friends?
Yeah. I polled Facebook.
I love your friends.
I mean, I don't know if they were my friends. These weren't on all of my friends. This is Facebook. So yeah, I put a post on Facebook like 8 years ago, and this is what people came up with. And the axe wound was the most disturbing one.
There's other ones. Those are actually nice ones. I've heard other ones.
Well, these ones really, I liked though when it got down to the my tantra people started kicking in, and they were like, the feminine entrance, divine entrance, God light in the human form. Yeah. Like, all right.
I love the word crotch. I love that word. It just makes me laugh so hard. Like crotch, crotchety. I try to use crotchety a lot. And then I also love the word cunt. I'm totally reclaiming that.
Cunt? Yeah, so I'm all up on cunt.
I have these earrings that I can't wear them very often, but they're scrolled out. They're beautiful and it has the word cunt in it. Okay, so let's, off the top of our head, since we gave honor to the vagina, how many penis words can we come up with? And I'm kind of expecting people in the chat and on the comments to like give us some things as well.
I'm gonna ask Facebook shaft. I am bad at these kind of games. I get on the spot shy.
Oh, okay. Penis, dick, spear,
rod.
Oh, that's
love
my
wand. Love wand.
Love. Oh,
love wand.
Yeah.
Wand of light.
Wand of light.
Boner.
Chubby.
Ooh! I had to explain some chubby to someone recently. It was fabulous.
You know how I learned that word? I learned the word chubby because I was 19 or 20, and there was my best friend at the time, and I had a couple threesomes with her and her boyfriend. And one night I didn't want to have a threesome with them or sleep in the same bed, so I went and slept on the couch, and there was another guy on the other couch, and he said, "Can we cuddle?" And I said, "No, because you're going to want to be sexual, and I just want to sleep." And he said, "No, I'll be fine." So I said, "Okay, we're spooning." And then he starts stroking my thigh, and I said, "Dude, we're not doing that." And he goes, "Come on, but I got a chubby." And everything in my system just stopped. I was not annoyed that he was stroking my leg. I was like, "What the fuck is a chubby? I never heard of that." And he goes, like a half hard on. And I was like, "Huh, thanks for the education. I'm going to go on the other couch now." And I close my eyes, and like 5 minutes later, I feel this presence above me, and he's standing there with his pants down and his dick out in my face. And I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, can I at least just spank it in your face?" And I was like, "No." And this was not people that this was a random, strange occurrence in my life. Anyway, that's how I learned the word chubby. So we ushered him out the door, and then I slept.
Yeah, you did. Chubby. Goodbye. Bye, weirdo. So that's exactly what, God, where was I? Oh, I was at this Palm Springs thing that I was doing, and they had never heard the word chubby, and I was like, oh, it's when you're not fully hard, but it's like there's blood pumping through it, and it's getting thicker. It's just like a really interesting conversation.
Yeah, a half hard on. I love it because it's kind of sluggy. I call it slug sex because it feels like I'm getting fucked by a slug kind of sensation. I'm like, give it to me sluggy style. You need extra lubrication for that one though. But it's nice because it's a mushier feeling as opposed to a harder dick.
Yeah. I like that too. There is something really special about inviting a man to grow inside of you. There's something really special about that. Like it's a very sweet, loving, sluggy.
Well, for me, it's just like I'm like, oh, it's like I'm getting fucked by some giant slug. Like I'm not even inviting him to grow inside of me. I'm just like, this is sluggy.
I love you.
Animal realm.
Oh my God, I had this experience. I can't believe I'm going to share this. So there's a lot of, so I have this group of friends that I call my family, and they like to push the taboo and we like to push our own boundaries together. And it's really merely for the sake of asking why we're uncomfortable with it. And it's not about pushing through, like abandoning ourselves, but it's really about, just seeing what's underneath the fear or the concern. And so I I asked someone to brush my teeth and during a 12-handed massage. And they were like, well, do you want a vibrator too? And I was like, I guess so. And it was such an interest. It wasn't like particularly arousing or orgasmic or sexual inherently to me, but it was so much sensation. I was like, I didn't even know what to do with myself. I was like, oh my God, there's hands and they're like touching me. And then the vibration in my mouth and the vibration on my pussy. I was like, whoa. Ah. It was a really
a vibrating toothbrush.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And then so she wasn't pushing very hard on my teeth, so it was like tickling. I was rolling. It was really sensational.
It sounds sensational. Wow.
Yeah.
Electric toothbrushes are a lot anyway, just in your mouth. Wow.
How you feeling?
I'm just feeling. I was feeling grateful and juicy and present. It's feeling really present. Is present a feeling? My physical body feels present, and my awareness. Yeah, I just feel happy talking to you. I like your teeth a lot. You started talking about brushing teeth, and I like your pointy teeth. It's cute.
Oh, I really appreciate you sharing your love and your connection and your truth.
Well, I will attunement and presence. Those are my truths right now that I'm embodying more of. So
yeah,
it's really yeah. I'll save that for another talk. But yeah, it's been sweet to be on with you and Scott tonight. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I want to just drop in with what, again, kind of the theme of the show was, or the topic of when the heart opens, the presence must deepen. And I thought that was really beautiful.
Yeah, I was just losing my mind. I was like, how am I going to handle this long distance relationship? Because when I thought about it, it was polyamory. It was multiple relationship, but it was also long distance. Like, I'm in love with someone who's thousands of miles away. I can't be with them. What the fuck am I going to do? But I think it just cross applies to, if you've had a husband or a wife or a girlfriend or a partner for X amount of time, and then you meet someone else and you go into the relationship consciously and thoughtfully, it's like one has to stay present with what's in front of them. Otherwise they're missing out on the moment. And so I don't know. There is this very real, I told this man, I told Bob, I said, I realized I just need to be present. And he said, so basically you're just gonna, when you're here, you're here, and when you're there, you're there. And I said, that's not quite that cut and dry. I'm not just so present that I'm acutely aware that I am not with you. And in order to keep myself sane and really enjoy life and what's in front of me and be grateful, I'm gonna be attuned to what's here. And he said something sweet. He said, he goes, I think it's easier for me this time, because it was harder for him last time, I think. He said, because I'm taking all of the joy that you brought into my home, into my life, and into my people. He's like, and I'm just spreading it out everywhere I go. I'm just spreading your joy. And I was like, oh, I said, thank you. That's a good visual for me. I should spread your light and joy that you left me with. So that was, I think I'll end there.
I'm really like conversing right now over your love with Bob. That's really sweet.
Bob. Thank you. And I'm normally not so private. I'm really open about everything, but I happen to be with two people that are extremely private. So I'm honoring them because they have the shorter legs in this.
I love that you named him Bob, because it has an acronym for me. Battery operated buddy.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is a vibrator,
I like
right?
That. Of course, yeah. Or a toothbrush.
Sometimes dual use.
That's fun. I like that. I'm glad I picked Bob.
So every time you said it tonight, I've been like, hee.
That's funny.
Scott, you've been really quiet for a little while. Like extra quiet.
I get plenty of time to talk on my shows. So, I've been delighting in the two of you. you know, and you really are two of my favorite human beings of all time. A little earlier, you were talking about kindness, and I just want to acknowledge that I was going to mention that you're two of the kindest people I know. But what's also cool is that you are kind and you're fun. You both really are fun people, and fun people aren't always kind, right? Fun people often, it's like all about me and the next adventure, the next high, the next thing, right? But you both have a lot of fun in life, and you're both really kind and considerate. And I just really want to acknowledge it's a great combination. I think that's why I'm a little bit in love with both of you. Yeah.
A little bit in love with you too, Scott and Roxy.
It's mutual, yes, mutual.
All right, well, thank you everybody for watching. I want to acknowledge that most of the people who watch the show watch the replay. So thank you to those of you watching live. Welcome anybody watching the replay. And next week, we're going to have a really interesting straight talk. We are going to have activists and police officers engaging together on straight talk.
That sounds so good.
So it's going to be really interesting. And then 2 weeks from now, Mark Sims is coming back. And Mark's got some really interesting stuff. And I know we have a lot of fans of Mark Sims. So Roxy,
I love Mark Sims.
Thank you. Oh, Mark is great. And thank you everybody watching.
Speaking of a man who's really kind and compassionate, like, wow, he has incredible empathy and compassion. So it's like, dang. You can find Roxy through Roxanne De Palma, she said. You can find me on Embodied Happiness or Intimate Transformation on Facebook. You can find Straight Talk soon on their own Facebook page.
And tomorrow night, I want to do a quick plug for Saturday Night Alive for the Global Peace Tribe. We've got an amazing show tomorrow. We've got Matt Kahn, Carolyn Miss, Lynn, Stephen Dinan, some of my favorite musicians, Larissa Stowe's coming back, Elijah Ray, even Swami Beyondananda, and our favorite magician, Jeff McBride. It's like an all-star show. And it's all about creating peace in the world through unity. So tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, definitely join us for Saturday Night Alive for the Global Peace Tribe. And I love you both. I look forward to my next connection with each of you. Thank you everybody for watching.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.